Hey guys, it's Metatost, and I am going to look at some of the new features for the newest season, Operation Shadow Legacy. Obviously the biggest is the new Operator, Zero. As you can see, it is Sam Fisher from the Splinter Cell series. His main loadout is the new SC3000K assault rifle. Has a base damage 45, fire rate of 850, mobility 50, and capacity 25. His second primary is the MP7 with the new 1.5x scope. They have added new scopes, which is another thing I'm going to be looking at, along with his secondary, which is a suppressed 5.7, and the suppressor cannot come off. That's the only thing you can have with a suppressor. His gadgets are the frag, which are probably going to be taken away, and his claymore. Currently the only thing that you can currently the only uniform or customization options you have for him are the Shadow Legacy uniform, which is a camo, and the seasonal skin Penumbra cells. Has a nice helix along with the signature 3-dotted night vision. As you can see, his weapon looks very nice. And then it can go on all previous weapons. Unfortunately, they have not put in the Tachanka rework yet, and it is looking like it is going to come out next season. So Tachanka is still same old, nothing new. The newest feature is the rework to Chalet. I'll hop into a custom game and show off all that I can. Alright, as you can see, there's new animations for the starting of a match. Go with Zero. This is his little operator art. Also, he is a 2 armor 2 speed and a difficulty of 1. And they added the new ping system. Which now you can also ping inside drones. It'll leave stuff like that. So as you can see, whenever I exit, I could see the camera. Along with their newest setting that allows you to go into the options, go into accessibility, and change the color of the optics. You can also change opacity, things like that, so that won't be as vibrant. His unique gadget is the Argus launcher, which you can shoot at a destructible surface, and allows you to see both sides and zap with one thing. As you can see, it is quite obvious, so you have to find good hiding spots for it. Also, his melee kinda looks like it's a karambit, which is pretty neat. Don't know if you guys can see that very well. With the Argus launcher, you can launch it through floors, walls, things like that. As you can see, down in the basement, they have changed this area from wood to drywall, which is unbreakable. The destruction looks real nice. It looks like they've kind of changed that for specific surfaces. See, with the Argus launcher, you can launch it through floors. Breakable walls. See both sides of walls. See, the Argus launcher zap only does 5 damage to people, so you're not going to be killing anyone with it. Recoil on this seems to be pretty good and controllable. Primary gadget is the frag grenade for the secondary gadget. Also, the animation for him holding his pistol is really cool. Makes it look like he's already leaning until you aim in. Complete rework of the map. This is kitchen, where the kitchen bar used to be right here. It has now been moved to right here. They've moved a lot of the stuff for rooms around, but other than that, not much has changed. They've completely removed trophy, or almost completely removed it. This is no longer going to be a site, and this has a staircase that leads into the second floor. When we get onto the second floor, it leads into where master bedroom would have been. Here's the shower, which normally would have a wall here. Instead, there's no longer a wall to get into the bathroom. There's instead a closet and masters. You can walk out, and then this is what leads into the bathroom. You have this big open area, which used to just be a hallway with stairs in here. This hasn't really changed too much except for this little area over here now. All the walls are no longer destructible, which is new. This area, instead of having the outside balcony, they've moved it back and given us a little balcony area here to look down. The library is pretty much the same. They haven't changed anything here. All they've done is made this no longer have a doorway and this be non-breachable. You don't notice from the outside, as the outside hasn't changed too much. Still can hop straight into it. Other than that, I believe that's pretty much it for the map. Yeah, there's the kitchen over here. Kitchen is pretty much the same. They removed the doorway here and instead moved it over to here. So this is no longer a big open area with just one hallway. This also leads back down into here instead of it being a walled off area. Leads to more attacking points. You can no longer see outside in a little window up here. And this is no longer accessible through a door. You have to come in through this window, or that window, and it leads straight down into the basement. Garage is pretty much the same. They changed the garage doors to look like the ones like Cafe. even giving the metal bars like those, which pretty much stop bullets. I don't think there's much more to talk about. This area, which used to just be a doorway right here that led directly in, is now pushed further back. It is no longer a door, but a window. Then this area no longer has a doorway right here and a window right here, but rather this is now a little bar hole area. It only has one window over here, rather than having two windows and a door, or a window right there. Just going to get back into the objective. Camera positions haven't really changed. All in all, I think this map rework is really good. It isn't as extreme as Hereford, which is really nice, but it also changes the map up enough to where it feels like a new map. I think this will allow for more gameplay vertically, along with more angles to attack and defend from. Let's get bigger. I have not looked at all the other changes to operators. Probably should have. I know that now anyone with a DMR now has a 3x scope, which the normal 2.5 scope is the ACOG. The only people who get the 3x scope are characters with DMRs. Anything else does not have that. And the only weapon to have the original ACOG that I know of is the Boss G. I believe there may be another weapon, but I'm not too positive. As you can see, this adds a lot of extra range. You can really get that distance in. This should help with longer range maps. For a DMR player who needs to stick back, this will be really good. You can now kinda play more outside when objective is closer to a window. This adds in for a lot of zoom, which should help DMR players get that edge over defending players with automatic SMGs. Other than that, not a lot for a lot of other people that I know have been changed. So we'll try and get on to defending as fast as possible. Alright. Oh, another thing that has changed has the sidebar for points. It is a lot more sleek looking, and it is not as thick and bulging, and it is much more thin, nice. There's just a lot of quality of life changes in this update, which is really nice. don't think any overpowered ops have lost anything too much. It's a new symbol for a shield, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, hard breaching charges. This is new. Alright. We'll check this out, even though it won't do much unless there's a reinforced surface. It'll just be like a normal breaching charge, but this makes to where hard breachers are not necessarily needed every single time. It'll be nice to see the difference between before and now. Just kind of break into here. Let's see here. Just go around, find a good old wall. Alright. So then, these can make holes big enough to jump through and to crouch through and walk through. Apparently they made it easier to vault through objects too. I think they made the vaulting to where it shows up at more angles, which is really nice. His shield can now be pinged. Oh no, never mind, that is not his shield that's being pinged. Players are still not physical objects to ping unless they are enemies. Alright. Let's see if this will hurry up and end so that we can move on to defense and check out some of the defense stuff. Alright. So for defense, not much has changed either. One of the new features that they added in is instead of it being each person has 2 reinforcements, the whole team as a total has 10. So if you're a Capcan or someone who has to run around like Kavera, the team can put down the reinforcements rather than you having to stay and waste time doing that. I'm trying to think of what ops were changed. Oryx no longer has the Gyarados, but I think that's been in for a little bit. I don't know, I only ever used the Bailiff. The new sights, this is the new holographic. I don't much care for it. I think it's too bulky on the screen. Takes up too much room, it's too small of a dot. Just makes it more difficult to see everything in general. Those still, I have not seen lots of use from, even though they are great information gathering tools. As you can see in the top left, it says 10 reinforcements rather than just 2 in the bottom right as you put them up. As you can see now, I'm putting them up, it goes down. Each person can put down as many as they want. So while your team is going around doing all the stuff that they gotta do, you can stand back and reinforce everything. This makes it better for if your team is, say, 3 against 5 and you're having to defend. This makes it where you can still put up all the reinforcements in your area without having to only get 6 instead of 10. This is a great bonus for that too. All in all, these are great changes to help balancing and just in general quality of life. One of the things that I've noticed is that they have completely removed debris, where this was in on the last update. I know that on lower quality settings you could get it to where it would not show debris, but even on max settings, as I have it on now, debris no longer comes down, which is really nice. Couldn't tell you which update that would have been, honestly. New sites, there's a new red dot. The new holographic, as you can see right here, is a 1.5, 2.0, I want to say, a 2.5, and a 3.0. They have not added in a new reflex, and they have given they've changed out some of the old optics for the newer optics, and all of the defense, well, don't want to say all, most defense people can use the 1.5 scope on their SMGs, which just kind of gives them that helping hand against attackers at longer ranges. I think that is pretty much all I needed to show for defense. I think beyond that it's all optics, which we can just quit and show it in the actual menu. So then, start with defenders. Smoke, I do not think his FMG has it. Oh shit, wrong thing. I do not think his FMG has it. Oh, yep, his FMG does in fact have the 1.5. So even guns that wouldn't typically have that much of a magnification and originally didn't even have the holographic can still have it. The shotguns, I do not believe get the 1.5. I believe, oh, that's Germans, or not the Germans, the Russians. They're not gonna have it. But I do believe the most that they can have is either the newer red dot, the newer holographic, I want to believe, or the reflex. They do not get any of the newer higher end or higher zoom scopes. Oryx on these. Oryx only gets a holographic, and I believe Doc and Rook get the 1.5. So not every op is going to have the 1.5. I think it's going to be all up to balancing. Yep, Doc and Rook have the new 1.5. The P90 gets the new 1.5 or the holographic instead of the ACOG. Pulse, their UMPs do not get the 1.5, they only get up to the new holographic. Valkyrie, I believe, gets the 1.5, if I'm not mistaken. No, she doesn't get any of the new optics, she gets all base. Never mind. Then is it Warden that gets the 1.5, or do they both get the same? No, okay. Yes, Warden is the one with the 1.5 and the new holograph. So reused weapons will not always have the same optics. So Legion, I don't think his T5. Yes, his T5 does in fact get the 1.5. I was wrong. I assumed wrong. Alright. So, pretty much get the gist. I don't think I've seen the new red dot, like, at all. I think I've seen it once. Yeah. I believe... Oh, here's a perfect example to show that the Boss G is the only thing that has the... No. Yeah, that it is one of the only guns who has the 2.5. They renamed it. It originally was still called ACOG. I guess they've changed that to where it is actually 2.5. I don't think a lot of other weapons have that. I believe only the attackers can get up to a 2.0 and a 2.5. Malusi, none of the new optics, which is interesting considering that she was the last season's operator. Oh my. Just the new holograph. He does not get the 1.5 for the AUG, which kind of makes sense for balancing purposes. But his MP5K gets the 1.5, so if you need larger magnification, the MP5 is the way to go if you'd rather have higher damage than the AUG. Mira gets the 1.5. I know for a fact. Yes. Where the hell is the new red dot, bro? So not a lot of ops look like they have the new red dot. Huh. Ella did not get the 1.5 for her Scorpion. She didn't even get any of the new optics for her shotgun either. Does Jaeger get a 1.5 is the question. Because that might be a little bit cheating. He does not, but he does in fact get the new red dot. This is how it looks. For comparison, I'll show the regular red dot. This is the regular dot. So the only difference is that it has a bigger area right here, and you can get in the way for a red dot, which you're not going to be using a lot of zoom for. That really doesn't matter too much. So the answer is, for all of you who want Jaeger and Bandit to have a deeper sight, they do not. For obvious reasons, because their ACOG days were overpowered and they were very dominant. Maestro does not get a 1.5 either because of course, his LMG days, which he was dominant. So it's looking like any ops who were released and they were pretty overpowered, or their weapons are still considered to be in a good place, they are not getting the 1.5. Goyo, who was considered too overpowered because of Pro League, is not getting it. I don't think the TCSG gets the... No? It gets the 2.0, which I don't know about many primary ops, but the 2.0 has this kind of sight, which, if I could find an attacker who has it. Most attackers either have the 2.0 or the 3.0. Not a lot of attackers have that middle ground. I don't think Zero does, at least. Yeah, Zero has... Oh yeah, Zero does have the 2.0. 2.0 is the one I was using. Never mind, I'm wrong. Haha. So, DMR type weapons on defense will have the 2.0 instead of the 3.0. And for all you Blackbeard mains, he does not get an ACOG anymore. Nope, he does not. He gets a 1.5, and I'm assuming that's because he's considered overpowered. Hibana, I don't know. I have not used Hibana. Hibana just gets a 1.5. I think a lot of the operators that are considered good only get the 1.5. I think it's underpowered and underused, or just underused ops, are the ones who are getting the full ACOG thing. Jackal might be a prime example. I did not realize I had a legendary skin for Jackal, which looks almost no different. Anyways, Jackal might be a prime example of someone who does, yep, he does in fact get a 2.0 scope. That's definitely going to help his ban rate. His PDW gets 1.5, which makes sense because it's an SMG. So just think about operators that are underused and underpowered, and those are probably the ones that are going to have a higher scope magnification. Or if you're one of the newer ops, because I know for a fact that Ace is not considered underused and underpowered. I'm sure whenever the seasonal stats come out, you will see that he is probably one of the most used because of his tactability use. Yana, that's who I'm thinking of. The ARX 2000 for Yana does have the 2.5. I prefer the 1.5 for her because of short range combat and the low amount of rounds in her magazine. Nook, I believe, gets the to 1.5 along with the newer holographic. So yeah, don't think there are any new optics that I haven't shown. Mav, because of his DMR, gets a 3.0. He does not get anything lower though, so you will either be stuck with a very short range or a very long range. And then he gets 1.5 for his machine gun. One of the things that I'm looking forward to see, that I will probably run tests for, is to see if the lower magnification compared to higher magnification prevents as much recoil like I would assume it does. I have to go to live and the live build and this one to see if the recoil changes any between ACOG and regular, because if so, that could lead to a lot of new class setups. Like, especially for Maverick, who before running his machine gun with with a suppressor and angled grip and the higher end scope did not work at all because of how bad the recoil was and how impossible it was to control. But I wonder if now, with the lower end magnification, if it'll be easier to control and it'll be easier to use this exact setup that he was intended to use in his art. I think I'm going to be done with this video, guys. See you guys in the next video.